What's up in your land?
Kia, Jeep, or Peugeot? Which one? That I will show you in this video. So in 2019, I left the modern day comforts and went on a journey to find the meaning of life. I also wanted to learn living with less and simplify my lifestyle, and so my car became my tiny home. At that time, I had this little Peugeot 206, and let me tell you, before I had to sleep in it, I never ever knew a human body can bend into such awkward positions and still manage to have a good sleep. But hey, that now had become my reality, and you will see some of it later in the video, but I just want to give you a quick summary first of why these three particular cars. So after months on the road, a truck crashed in my Peugeot. Thankfully, I wasn't hurt, but my little car was irreparable. I was devastated. My whole world had collapsed. My dreams of traveling shattered as I had just started my journey. Thankfully, I had some savings left, so I decided to get a new car. But this time, learning from the experience, I wanted something more comfortable for living and sleeping, and so I found this Kia Carnival. And let me tell you, after living in the tiniest vehicle on the planet, this really felt like I was at the carnival. To cut the story short, I traveled in it for about 6 months until it was due the mod test, where they started to list all the faults, and until I repair it, I wouldn't be able to drive it, for which I just didn't have enough funds, so I sold it. Then a while later, I got a van, this Iveco daily van, and I was enjoying the van life for a good few years until I decided to take a break. And because I was based in one place, I didn't want to drive my big van around all the time, so I was temporarily given this Jeep Grand Cherokee. In return, I just helped pay some repairs that it needed. I've been on some local trips with it, as well as the owners had been traveling through Europe with it and given me their feedback. And so let's now start right in, cover all the aspects, score these three cars accordingly, and see which one wins and which one loses. Starting with storage and stuff. The little Peugeot was so tiny and compact, and so the living in it also needed to be as compact, and so I only had the very basics with me, by which I mean the bare minimum that had to support my basic needs but still satisfy my lifestyle. When you live in such tiny space, every gap, every pocket must be utilized, which was exactly what the situation was in my Peugeot.
Boxes. I've got some stuff there. I've got some stuff there and there. Everything is nicely tucked in. And when I put this on, it just makes a little table. See? Glasses, pens, wet wipes, drink thingy. Got my music all my unfinished and blank canvases, and see simple solutions. I've got this thing, yeah, and this is my sunscreen, which covers the front window when there is too much sun or just for privacy. And here I've got my underwear, my chopping board, my tripods, there's my tent, and then I've got some chalkboard. Such a small space. Every single corner needs to be utilized.
And it was fine until it was the bedtime, and I needed to clear out the back of the car, which during the day served as a storage room, and move all that stuff to the front so that I have space where to sleep. The Jeep is so much bigger comparing to it, and so I have more space for stuff, but still not so much as when I need to make the bed, the back seats need to be folded down, meaning all what was on the back seats during the day had to be moved to the front seats as the bed space then occupies the whole back with the room only for mine and Snoopy's sleeping, for Snoopy's water bowl, and for the power station, as I would normally charge my devices at night.
This is it. Dookie, just see? I'm here. This is all the space I have.
So again, the situation is quite similar. Even though the Jeep is bigger than the Peugeot, every evening I still have to move stuff away and in the morning move it all back, which is so annoying, time consuming, and inconvenient. Which definitely wasn't the case when it came to my Kia, because there was enough space for all my stuff, as well as for the bed, as well as for the back seats, which served as a sofa and Snoopy's bed. Plus, in Kia, I could also finally hang up clothes on hangers instead of having clothes folded in a suitcase where they get creased. That's a big one for me. So yes, as far as storage and stuff goes, Kia wins the full marks of 100%. Jeep gets 30% and little Peugeot is proper cramped, so only 10%. Next, the living. So living in a car is definitely indoor-outdoor experience, especially when it comes to cooking and eating, as in a car life, people tend to use more gas cookers and they are safer to use outside than inside the car. Also, it's just so much nicer to have your meal outside in fresh air, whilst listening to birds or sea. When it comes to working, as I work from home, I work from a car, of course, which I can easily do from the front seats. Although I have to admit that neither in Peugeot or the Jeep it's not that comfortable. Although it's perfectly doable, space-wise it's quite tight and things keep falling over. Whereas in Kia, there was more than enough space, and so Kia again wins the full marks because it's just a killer car. It had tons of space in the front as well as the back for work and for all sorts of activities. So when it comes to daily living, Kia again gets 100%, Jeep gets 50%, and Peugeot gets 30%. Now the big one, sleeping.
I slept like a dog.
Well, you could clearly say that about sleeping in my little Peugeot, although I had the best time traveling and living in it. When it came to sleeping, it was something else. First of all, to have this free space at the back, every evening I needed to spend a good 30 minutes to move all my stuff from the back to the front. Then, as I didn't have a mattress, I needed to fill in the hollow parts of the back seats with some blankets and towels to make it a bit evener. And then when I got to the sleeping, as the car wasn't wide enough, I wasn't able to straighten my body nor stretch. I always needed to sleep bent in various awkward positions, either on one side or the other. I wasn't able to sleep on the back or face down, which is my preferred position for a good rest, so I can for sure say that sleeping in this car is a total no-no. Clearly, in the Jeep, sleeping is much better. Well, yes and no. Although there is enough space for two people to sleep comfortably, the bed can only be made once the seats are folded down, which instantly takes away any floor space that there ever was at the back, making also getting in bed very awkward as the car is raised quite high up and either getting in through the side door or the boot is not easy. Plus, there's nowhere to put your shoes, as from outside you directly climb into bed, which wasn't a problem in Kia because of the bed not taking away the floor space. I would say having Kia was almost like having a small van. The width of Kia was a bit bigger than my body length, which allowed me to have the bed this way, which still gave me enough floor space for the shoes and for moving around. So yes, overall, when it comes to sleeping, Kia is the clear winner again, with full marks of 100%, Jeep is 70%, and Peugeot this time gets nothing. Now, how stealthy and safe each car is. So my little Peugeot was a proper stealthy dog because it's such a small, low-profile car, so nobody would even think that there is somebody living in it. But also, it just doesn't draw attention because it's a cheap car, nobody cares about it. But what I gotta say though is that if someone really wanted to look inside, they could definitely notice someone being inside, as I didn't have tinted windows. I wanted to put some, but it was a total fail and it looked like black bin bags were stuck to windows, so I just had to improvise and use what I had as the curtains, which certainly could draw attention if someone really looked. Jeep, although it has slightly tinted windows, has such a tight inside space due to car being raised up quite a bit, and so it's perfectly visible that someone is inside. It's even worse when the bed is made, as the seats folded down give even less room where to move around. I then feel like being on the display, and so some extra window covering there is essential. Plus, Jeeps are on the pricier side, so they will always kind of draw people attention. And finally, the Kia, which had a very low floor and slightly tinted windows, so even without any curtains, I could do my thing inside and nobody would even notice. And although the Kia itself was on a bigger side, because it's not like a stylish car but more like a family car, people just were not bothered about it. So it really was the best car for stealthiness and safety. So 100% for Kia, Peugeot gets 70% and the Jeep 20%. Now, indoor-outdoor qualities. My little Peugeot just had me being outside all the time because it being such a compact car, but it was manageable, and with the doors open and the boot open, it was absolutely wonderful as long as it didn't rain. Whereas the boot of the Jeep, when open, serves as a little roof when it's raining, allowing to cook up dinner or just chill there at the back. It's also a comfortable space where to sit on, but not that easy to climb up though, as the car is quite raised up. Not sure about Kia's boot because I always kept the back seats in. I never really used the boot much, but what I absolutely loved though was that Kia had these sliding doors, which was so awesome. Slide the door sideways and have the inside outdoor living instantly. As I said then,
It is an incredible feeling being able to wake up just the car's door away from the outdoors.
so all of the cars kind of pushes one to go out, do things, live life. That's what car life is all about, and that's why I love it so much. So all three cars therefore get full marks of 100%. Now let's see how economic is to run each car. No doubt that the little Peugeot was the cheapest one to run. It had a small engine size, so it didn't consume much petrol. Also, the insurance for a small car is lower, as well as it's easy to upkeep this car, as every official or private garage or even an ordinary person who knows something about the mechanics could make repairs if needed. The same with Kia, although the insurance was a bit more expensive due to it being a family car. But the most expensive car to run out of these three definitely has to be the Jeep. First of all, the tax is quite high, as well as the insurance is more expensive due to bigger engine size, which also means more diesel consumption. Plus, not many garages here in this country are familiar with this make of car. They just don't have the right equipment for detecting the faults and do the repairs. So every time it needs something checked, it has to be taken to an official garage, which specializes in Jeeps, plus the parts are so much harder to get as well as they are so costly. Come on, just a light bulb for the headlight alone costs 20 euros. So, my little Peugeot here is a clear winner with full marks of 100%. Kia is not far off with 90%, with the Jeep being the most expensive to upkeep, so I would say 0. Now, charging ports and power. The Peugeot had only one 12-volt cigarette charging port in the front, meaning I could only charge one device at a time. Whereas Jeep has two 12-volt chargers in front and some USB ports at the back as well, but not as many as Kia. Honestly, Kia had two cigarette lighter chargers in the front, one in the middle, then several USB ports at the back as well as in the middle, just like a proper family car would have. But yeah, living in a car really requires some kind of a mobile power station, which I have, this one, and it can be recharged with a 12-volt cigarette charger whilst driving around. Or one can always stop at places like McDonald's, order coffee, and use their electricity to charge everything up. But even though some of these three cars have more charging ports than others, one can only use them whilst the car is driving and for a short while after it had stopped, but otherwise all three cars would require some kind of an external power station for the comfortable car dwelling, so I won't give any scores to any of them this time. Hygiene and washing matters. With any car life, there's just no space where to wash. Even though I don't have a proper shower in the van, I can still wash perfectly with my DIY setup as I have all that space. But with the car living, it's either using motorway toilets, staying in the camping or at friends, and in between the good old baby wipes. So again, this section will not be scored. Now, getting in and out of the car. I know this sounds a bit excessive, but believe me, when you live in a car full time, it matters. So when I got the Jeep, the first thing that I did was, oh. Until then, it never had happened, and so I wasn't aware of such matter. It took me a good few weeks to adjust to a new way of getting in and out of the Jeep. And I still don't get it right, especially if I have a hat on or a tall hairstyle like a bun. It's a proper nightmare. Also inside the Jeep, it feels so tight, it feels like my head is constantly touching the ceiling, and I am only 1.58. Just imagine how a bigger person would struggle. So in this instance, Jeep gets from me 30%, Peugeot gets 90%, and Kia of course gets full marks of 100%. Now, how comfortable are the seats? Again, you would think this a bit excessive, but when your car is your home, every inch matters. I spend most of the time sitting in those seats while inside, either working or doing art or what else, so it really is important. And so the Peugeot had quite hard leather seats with back seats having some weird shapes, but the front ones were okay actually, and so I'll give the Peugeot 60%. Then the Jeep has alright seats, but it's just the fact that inside of the car is not tall enough. When I sit in those seats, the ceiling is just there, and so it feels a little claustrophobic, so I would say Jeep also gets 60%.
There's enough space for cats though.
Kia, on the other hand, had wide front seats with a soft fabric upholstery, so they almost felt like armchairs. I've had good naps in them when I felt sleepy, but I didn't want to go to bed. Also, the front felt like a proper office with plenty space to work from, to eat, chill out, what else. So the front seats were definitely well used, as well as the back seats, which served as a sofa, and it was super comfy. Plus the fact that all the seats are easily removable, which helped when I wanted to remove the middle seats to give me the living space at the back. So Kia definitely gets full marks from me on this one. And last but not least, that cool dude factor and 4x4. So I had always admired Jeeps and secretly was wanting one for myself, mainly because I had a dream going traveling with the car on off-roads, and for that I thought I need 4x4. Although looking now back, my little Peugeot was up in the Pyrenees, Kia has driven through Croatian mountains and rocky Spanish riverbeds. Both of them were fine with off-roads. Good evening! Hola! We're gonna drive on the normal road. See the villages, drink coffee maybe. But yes, you cannot argue. Jeep has this cool dude factor. Every time I'm driving it, I'm like, yo bitches, yeah, 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 yo bitches, yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely feeling like a badass. Saying that, I felt equally awesome in Kia as well as in my little Peugeot for many different reasons. So it's all in our heads. If we are generally not happy, no external thing will change that. And the same is true for the opposite. If we are generally happy, then no external thing can take that away from us. So, no scores for this one. How about you? What you've been doing today? Answer me! To conclude the video, I want to say that I was judging these cars purely from a car dweller's perspective. For me, being stealthy and safe and having a simple, easy and comfortable living are the main motives that will make me favor a particular vehicle over another more. And so the points are in. Let's see. So my little Peugeot got 460 points. Kia got 790 points. The Jeep scored the lowest score of 360 points. So Kia is a clear winner here. But looks like I am currently stuck with the loser. Yo bitches, yeah.
And leave me a comment and a like. It's my signature move. So disturbing.
To the system and we wise up.